Well, he vowed to inflict as much pain as possible on the U.S. in response to Trump's tariffs.
You come at us, we aren't rolling over. Sure, we're going to get hurt. There's no doubt. But they're going to get hurt just as much. They don't have the manpower to build the cars right now. I don't start a tariff war, but we're going to win this tariff war. Then we're going to cancel Starlinks right away from Elon Musk.
President Trump is furious. And this time, it's personal. In a stunning move, Ontario has shut the door on America and handed Europe the keys, along with a $20 billion clean energy jackpot. A battery plant once expected to feed North America's electric future will now send every single unit overseas, not one for the U.S. This isn't just economic friction, it's a fracture, and one that could reshape the entire U.S.-Canada alliance. Let's break it down. It started quietly. Then it exploded. In early 2025, the Trump administration doubled tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum, raising them to 50%. It was part of a larger push to protect American manufacturing, but Ontario saw it as a slap in the face. Just weeks later, Ontario struck back. The provincial government finalized a $20 billion deal with Europe, led by Volkswagen, to build one of the largest battery plants in North America. The location? St. Thomas, Ontario. The purpose? Power more than 1 million electric vehicles a year, not for the US, but for Europe. Every single battery is headed across the Atlantic. 0 for American car makers, 0 for American consumers. Some call it retaliation, others say it's a wake-up call. President Trump, speaking from the White House Rose Garden, didn't hold back. If Ontario thinks they can freeze us out and hand the future to Europe, they're in for a surprise. America will respond, stronger than ever. The administration is reportedly considering energy tariffs of its own, potentially targeting Canadian hydro exports. Congressional allies are urging emergency trade hearings. But the truth? Some analysts say the damage is already done. Ontario didn't make this decision overnight. For years, the province built its auto industry around cross-border trade with U.S. cities like Detroit and Buffalo. Steel, car parts, lithium, it all flowed south. But as tariffs stacked up and America's trade policies grew more unpredictable, Ontario looked east. Europe offered something the U.S. no longer guaranteed: stability, clear climate goals, generous clean energy subsidies, and perhaps most importantly, no sudden tariff spikes. By tying its future to Europe, Ontario avoids being caught in Washington's crossfire. It's no longer a sidekick to the American supply chain. It's becoming Europe's clean tech gateway. And then came the second blow. While the U.S. was still reeling from the battery news, Ontario dropped another bombshell. In March 2025, the province slapped a 25% surcharge on electricity exports to the United States. Michigan, New York, Ohio, all states that rely heavily on clean Canadian power. Hospitals, factories, data centers, suddenly facing higher costs. Some even feared blackouts. Ontario's message was clear. You raise tariffs on our goods, we raise prices on your grid. It wasn't a shutdown, it was a warning shot. And Washington heard it loud and clear. Meanwhile, Europe isn't wasting time. While American officials scramble, EU leaders are celebrating. Volkswagen's St. Thomas deal is just the start. German, Dutch, and French firms are pouring billions into Ontario, not just in batteries, but in green hydrogen, precision manufacturing, and minerals. A €500 million hydrogen plant in Thunder Bay is underway. Nickel and cobalt from northern Ontario are now headed to Rotterdam and Hamburg, not Detroit. Even Canadian pension funds are shifting. Instead of investing in US banks or tech stocks, they're putting their money into German renewables and Scandinavian infrastructure. It's not just trade that's moving, it's trust. And now, the fallout is spreading to defense. Canada has quietly paused a $19 billion F-35 fighter jet contract with the US. Instead, Ottawa is in talks with France's Dassault and Sweden's Saab. This would have been unthinkable a few years ago. But with the trade relationship fraying, even military trust is slipping. One Canadian official told the press, "If we can't rely on the US for fair trade, Why should we rely on them for our defense? It's not just about planes, it's about independence. What's happening in Ontario could soon spread. Quebec's ports are now redirecting exports to Europe. British Columbia is drawing interest from Japanese and Korean energy firms. Canada's economy, once tethered tightly to America, is quietly turning outward. Some in Washington still think this is temporary, but others, including senior trade officials, are warning the U.S. is being sidelined, not by an enemy, but by a friend who's had enough. And Europe? Europe is seizing the moment. This is about more than tariffs, more than a battery plant. This is about what kind of partner the United States is, and what kind of partner Canada wants. America has long been the default, the anchor, the center of North American trade. But Ontario's move tells a different story, one of frustration, repositioning, and renewal. With Europe as the new dance partner, President Trump isn't taking this lying down. His administration is drafting countermeasures, and fast. But some fear it may already be too late. As Canada redraws its trade map, will America adapt? Or will it find itself left behind? In global economics, you're either at the table or on the menu. And today, Europe just took a seat. What do you think? Is Trump right to play hardball? Or has America pushed a trusted ally too far? Comment below, hit like. Subscribe for more updates as this story unfolds. Because what Ontario just did could change everything. What do you think? Is Trump right to play hardball? Or has America pushed a trusted ally too far? Comment below, hit like. Subscribe for more updates as this story unfolds. Because what Ontario just did could change everything.